Hey everybody,
Hello.
welcome.
Hi.
I always do this wrong. It's Robin.
Where is she?
Hey,
That
it's
way?
Robin. I don't know why I'm doing this. You're supposed to do this. You can do it. Oh, look, it's Robin. Oh,
I always sit like this. It's so funny. You told me to do that.
like you're like
Always.
pensive.
I'm always
Oh, look, it's
pensive,
me.
staring off into the
It's me
distance.
doing that. Look, there I go.
Oh, that's cool. That's a fun effect.
Yeah. Um,
Pensive views.
yeah. Hello, Manic. Hello, Marina. So glad you have pizza. That's amazing. Um, anyway, today we have Robin Sachs Frankel here, who
Right.
that's right, who I have been lucky enough to work with when I was at, wait, can we say names?
Sure,
Are
it
you
doesn't
okay with
exist
that?
anymore.
Well, well,
I mean, I guess it exists, but not without us, so it hardly exists.
yeah. I mean, I was just going to say Forbes, but I guess that works.
That works. Yeah,
Um,
that works.
at my last job, we worked together, and definitely, whether she meant to or likes it or not, definitely like a very awesome mentor and like leader for me to look up to.
Aw. I totally meant to. Totally meant to be all of those things and more.
I meant to be a mentor. But she's also just, and that's kind of a little bit of what we want to talk about today. But my first experience with Robin was when she kind of just told people how it is in a Slack work chat when it was my first week. And I was like, somebody else who like speaks up for what's right or like asks the right questions that nobody is asking
I
other
know. I
than
wish I
me.
remember what it was or that you remembered.
It
It
was
was
it was
probably something really insightful.
it was well, it was something that I think was pretty unhinged if I have to be.
I don't know. It's,
But it was
who
great
knows?
nonetheless. And that's when I was like, I like her. Um
Aw,
yeah.
mutual.
Yeah.
Back at you.
Um so if you want to, I mean,
Give it. Good.
do you want to go ahead and maybe just share with everybody like a little bit about yourself and like your career and where you
Sure.
were, where you're at now?
Sure. Well, clearly I'm a mentor, at least to Jamie.
Yeah.
That's really the most important thing about
Just
me
to me
at this
because I'm
time.
very high maintenance.
Just
So,
you. Just to Jamie. I have no time for other mentees. No, I mean, I'm a personal finance writer and editor. Been doing it for about a decade, and I'm a mom of 2 teen boys. I know we went over this, but I don't know what else to say about myself. I am very happy to be here and happy to talk about all the things,
yeah.
all of them.
We're happy for you to be here too. I was going to pull up our doc because
Oh,
I did not have that up. But yeah, we talked yesterday just about like I guess kind of just like our outline and what we're going to go over today with Robin. And like I said, the first thing was when I had talked with her about being on the show, I was like, I don't know, I kind of want you to talk about maybe being the person. I was probably projecting a lot because it's also me because I'm like you in this
mm.
aspect, but it was very much just kind of like being burnt out, like being the only one a lot of the time to speak up, and especially like the only woman at like in different teams at different companies to like ask questions and um but yeah.
I mean, one of the things we had discussed that we were going to talk about now is that I am a huge question asker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's because I'm trained as a journalist. I think it's just I am used to asking questions, right? I think it is crazy. This is exactly what we spoke about yesterday. If someone has the answer, why not just ask the question? Like, I know there's a lot to be said for figuring things out on your own, and that's fine. You know, like, okay, I have to figure out how to get on this podcast, and I did have a little outside help, but like just certain things like that, like, or figuring out how to work something new or how to put something together, whatever. But when someone has the answer, like literally, like, do I put a hyphen here? Like, there's so many different rules, for example, on a copy desk, and then the rules change because AP style changes, or just little things like that. If someone has the answer, why wouldn't you ask? And I think a lot of people just don't ask, and they're more reactive than proactive. And I'm certainly not saying I'm proactive in every area of my life, but in work, I certainly try my best to just get an answer. I think that's more efficient. You know, I'm kind of, I have a lot of like mental energy at work, and I might call it hyper, but I just don't see the issue with speaking up. I'm not afraid to speak up. I'm going to ask the question. I ask a lot of questions, even if there's not answers. I've learned to, for better or for worse, tamp it down a little bit, because a lot of people do not respond well to that energy. I have learned.
I feel like they're either threatened or, I don't know, go ahead. I think Rebecca was.
Well, I was going to say men have weaponized question asking place where it's like they don't want to do any of the work. And so they just ask when like they know goddamn well what the answer is. But with Robin, it sounds like you're asking questions to like have a collaboration or to like have a conversation versus just like, oh, I don't want to look it up. It's like, you know, I would like to talk to you about that. You are the knowledge expert. I don't know why people get so nonplussed by that.
I think sometimes I ask so many questions that people don't have the time for it, or they just feel like annoyed by all the questions. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know what every single person I fire questions at, how they're responding. I think sometimes people just deflect because they don't want to do the work answer, or they just don't have the answer, you know, or ask so many questions, or like, you know, slow your roll. Just why don't you try to do something on your own and get the answer? I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. You know, as we had spoken about before, I went to all girls school for 13 years where there was not one iota of being taught to be quiet. It was like, it was very cool to speak up. The people who spoke up the most, that was like super encouraged and wonderful. And
That's cool.
I skew extroverted anyway. Yeah, I mean, and for introverts, it was amazing because they could speak up and not feel weird about it. As extroverts like me, it's great. I just assumed that I could speak up anywhere I went. And then I remember I went to college, and freshman year, it was the first time I'd ever been in class with boys. Obviously, I'd been around boys. I mean, I didn't live this weird female-only world or anything, just at school. But the girls did not speak up in class. It was the weirdest thing. Like, nobody raised their hand. No one was enthusiastic. Everyone just kind of like head down. It was really eye-opening. Yeah. And it was about, I don't know, like muffled voices. People don't want to stand out, which I think is, they're afraid to speak up because they don't want to stand out. And I think that's not just a teenage thing, although it's pretty common among teenagers. And I think that's age appropriate, but adults don't want to be the squeaky wheel. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to be the one at work. Yeah. That's the troublemaker, the annoying one, or the one asking too many questions, or call too much attention to themselves, or, you know, all the things that, I do without thinking about it. I'm not a guy.
I do the exact same thing. I mean, and I'm an introvert too, but like, I definitely can be, I mean, I still think I'm probably like a 70-30 or 80-20 or something like that, but
you're not an introvert at work, but at work we're all remote and we're all just screen based like this. There was no like small talk. It was like purposeful talk, right?
Yeah.
And it was in brief bursts, you know, if it was once or twice a week, that was it. So, you know, it's a unique scenario.
Yeah.
Hi, floating people.
I wonder too if it's, so, I mean, from pretty early on, women are taught to, you know, not speak out, not make a lot of noise, or we're annoying, or we're asking too many questions.
Robin grew up, like, with that being encouraged, which is amazing. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, but I was going to say, like, what you were describing, I think, bucks the trend of what, you know, we usually see. And so, I don't know, have you noticed, like, when you get to a workplace and you start doing that, have you noticed that others to braver, and you kind of encourage that?
I think I'm usually the loudest person wherever I've worked or go, or the most outspoken. And it's not a compliment. Sometimes I should shut my pie hole, right? But I definitely feel
you should
like I'm
never shut your pie hole. Never. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Well, sometimes it's just not appropriate to speak up all the time. Sometimes I need to have a little patience and wait and listen because someone might have been about to say the question I just asked, right? Like I have a little bit of a patience problem, I think. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how, some of it's nature and some of it's nurture, I think. You know, but I never yeah, I mean, I think if I had gone to school with boys growing up, I might have had a little bit of that outspokenness tampered down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because of,
That's
you know,
really
gender norms and all, you know, all the things.
that's really interesting. Like the way you grew up without being tamped down. I mean, that's experience most people I know don't have.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't realize how weird it was until I tell people I went to all girls school for 13 years and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I wore a uniform for 12 of those years, just not kindergarten. I loved it. I had a great time. I loved uniforms. It was so easy not to have to think about what to wear. I would wear a uniform now if I could.
Like,
a
if
lot
you
of
want to
times,
go change, like, we'll wait. If you want to go change.
oh yeah.
I don't have the uniforms anymore. I don't think they'd fit me either.
Like in schools with girls and boys too. I mean, they've done studies. It's like third or fourth year start calling on boys more. They start like favoring them to answer like math questions, that type of thing, unconsciously, but it still happens, and you still get that message. Well, all right, this isn't for girls, and so I think it really early too, which is really interesting. Like, I feel like there's a whole thesis in there, right, about that. It's fascinating.
Yeah, don't you remember a couple years ago, and maybe they still do this. There was a whole stink because they started making like Legos in pink or something, and then it was like kind of like gender. I don't know if the word's genderizing, but it was like ascribing certain gender things to Legos when kids were perfect, both sexes are perfectly fine playing with Legos in primary colors. I don't know. I am certainly not a gender studies expert. I can, you know, and I don't even know that I have super strong feelings about all that stuff. I just know how I was raised and how it is, what the path that I have taken, and it is a very loud one.
Well, but I mean, unconsciously, when we were talking yesterday, you said like one of the things that you tried to do is like you want to know how to balance a check, like you want to know where you're things, and for you, it almost seems like this is, I don't want to say knowledge is power because that's so gross, but maybe like empowering,
Gross.
like
I think
you know
it's
what I mean?
been
Like
super empowering to work in personal finance, don't you? I mean,
yeah,
don't you feel like you
oh
know
yeah,
so much more about personal finance than even people who have been like maybe, I don't know, managing their personal finances since a very, very young age, or whose parents taught
yeah.
them well? Because
Yeah.
I know a heck of a lot about, just from being in this industry. I don't know that I would know the ins and outs of balance transfer cards, or I don't know, even just like high yield CDs, or just things that like you don't usually talk about or care
Yeah.
about. Most people know the very basics, and I feel like I have. It's very empowering to know the difference. If someone starts talking to me about refinancing their mortgage, I could actually have an intelligent conversation with them about it because I follow these things, as opposed to like, oh, all right, that's cool. Good luck. I hope you get a good rate. I know what a good rate is, and I know, I don't know, the difference between an ARM and a, you know, jumbo mortgage and a, you know, just all the boring adulting things. I find it very empowering. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like to feel left like I don't want to say it makes me feel smarter, but it's definitely nice to know the things, right? The
Yeah,
things that make you do better at life financially. For sure.
yeah.
You can.
You're not passive about it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I know nothing about sports and I don't care to know a lot about sports. But when I'm around a bunch of people watching sports, like my kids and my husband, and they talk about these plays and things like that, I'm like, that must be very empowering for my kids as they've grown up to be able to talk so deeply and intelligently about something that they enjoy, and with their peers and with their father. And, you know, so that's kind of how I feel about personal finance, but it's more useful.
Yeah. I always say that,
Far more
like,
useful.
yeah, I stumbled into it because, like, when my first personal finance job recruited me, and I literally told them, I don't know anything about finance. I don't have any. I was doing like tech and app stuff, and games and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know anything about finance. And they're like, oh, no, you can learn, you know? And like, I had to learn very quickly, and I did. And then I feel like after a few years, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm kind of a personal finance expert. You know, like I'm quoted by people as being a personal
Right.
finance expert.
It's amazing.
It's
Isn't
like, how
it?
did
I
I
mean,
get here?
I didn't know anything about credit card. I started at Bankrate, and they were like, "We're going to start a credit cards vertical," and I started writing about credit cards for Bankrate, and I became their credit cards person, and here I am. 8 years later, I'm the credit cards expert, and it makes me wonder, like, well, what else could I be an expert in if I were to dedicate a lot of time to learning about it? I mean, who has that kind of time,
Twitch.
right?
You
It's
could
my
be
full-time
streaming
job,
on Twitch every week.
I could have multiple Twitch channels
Yeah.
if I applied myself.
You sure could. You sure could.
I don't know what I would do with them.
I
but
don't
would
know
do
why you would have
something.
multiple. I think you should just have one.
Oh,
But
just no.
Robin's like, I can have a
Twitch
ton.
all day long. I could be on Twitch all day long, twitching away, putting up all kinds of artwork of little raccoons and trash cans saying coming soon. I could do that, but I could pick my own animal.
Yeah, you definitely
It's
could.
great.
Pat reached out to me and was like, "Hey, there's a job at Student Loan Hero," and I was like, "No, I don't do money." And she's like, "No, it's a great company. You have to join." I blew her off 2 to 3 times, and finally she's just like, "Get a fucking Suze Orman book. Apply for the job."
Suze Orman.
Wait, who told you to
that's
apply
good.
for it?
Pat.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Trentina?
Yeah.
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 I've met her.
Yeah.
At CardCon, I think. I know who she is. Yeah, she's a long-time
Yeah, and I was just
freelancer.
like, I don't do money but things, and because I didn't know anything about it. It's like, you not.
I didn't know Student Loan Hero was your first finance job, but I guess maybe I did know that. That's awesome.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so here we are. We just kind of fell into it, I guess.
Here we are, personal finance experts. This
Yeah.
is how it's done. We just fell in. No, I'm just kidding. Years of careful study and application has gotten us to where we are. But obviously, you have an affinity for it, or you don't stay with it, right? I mean, you wouldn't work in something that you were super bored by and couldn't stand. Or, I mean, you would, but then you would be actively seeking to make a pivot and find a topic you enjoyed. Right.
I love Rebecca's face right now.
I don't know if it's like the oppositional defiance disorder in me, but I really like finding the scammy stuff, or like the loopholes, and like trying to pick apart, like, oh, actually mean this, this, and this. And so, like, when you get like the razzle dazzle, like a credit, here's a scam, not a scam, but like, here's why this isn't good, and trying to figure that out. Really enjoy that part.
So I don't know if it's not really oppositional disorder, but a lot of credit card quote unquote hackers, they are engineers, or they have engineer like minds, and they approach everything with how can I extract the maximum value, and they're really into geeking out on the spreadsheets and it's I think the reward of getting more than what that card was intended to give them is more satisfying than the trips for some people.
Yeah.
Just the idea of, I mean, it's no different. Look, when you find something you really like on sale at a store and you feel like you got such a great deal, it's the same thing. It's just multiplied by multiple cards, and understanding these complex travel rewards and all that stuff.
Well, money, like the finance world also has felt really gated, or just maybe not like super inclusive. And I like being a part of it because the more I worked here, the more women I've known have joined here.
Yeah.
Because it used to feel like, oh, it's just for men. But like being in the middle of it, and actually almost too. So
Rebecca, you keep cutting out a lot. Like,
oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Like, you don't need it in your mouth, but you definitely need to be closer to it.
Is this better?
So much better, thank you.
Okay, can I do ASMR? Just
no, dear God, no.
I'm going to stick with being loud and talking regularly.
Is that better?
Perfect.
Yeah, that's cool. I agree. I do see a much larger number of women getting into personal finance. Like, I thought, well, first of all, my team is half women, I think, if not more. I mean, I'm not a minority being female working where I work, which is absolutely glorious. But also, I could probably name half a dozen personal finance experts that are women, on TV and with books and all those other things. And I would so much rather take financial advice from a woman than a man. Well, that was kind of a blanket statement. Let me walk that back a little bit. But as a woman, I typically find advice from other women more relatable than
and reliable.
Mm-hmm.
For personal finance, I don't know if it's more reliable because someone's a woman. I just think, I don't know. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely more reliable when it's coming from the three of us in particular.
The three of us.
It's been fact checked. Like nothing has ever been fact checked and vetted and verified, and not by freelancers.
The
either.
opposite of whatever the fuck Meta's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is nothing like an AI overview. Not one bit.
Oh, man. I feel like that's a kind of like a good segue, and I know you were talking about this a little bit, but yesterday you were mentioning to us about like how some of your friends, you were even saying like some of my divorced friends kind of don't know what to do, and you like have this knowledge and it is so empowering, and so you like want your friends and like people around you and other women in general to be like empowered and to kind of know more.
I answer a lot of credit card questions from friends. People will text me, should I get this card? Or they'll ask me, like we go out to dinner and I pass judgment on everybody when the bill comes when I see what they put. I can't help it.
Is it like a ritual? Is it like a thing where they're like, okay, Robin, judge our cards?
No, but I do have a neighbor who thinks it is the funniest thing that he can ask me about a credit card and I know the rewards rate and the annual fee on the card.
Okay, listen.
I'm like, okay. I mean, it's no different than baseball cards and stats, right? Like, if you're dealing with something all the time, you just know it.
Robin she was known as the credit card, like, encyclopedia.
I don't know about that.
At work.
That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, no, that's what we called you. No, that's what we called you. We're not going to quiz you. That's terrible. We would never.
Okay, cool.
But,
I mean, you can. I don't know how well
just at the top of her head, like, it's insane. Like, Grace and I were always like, let's ask Robin. She just knows. We know she just knows.
Because I have been writing about credit cards for a little over 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I do all day professionally is think about credit. I mean, sometimes I cover other topics, personal finance topics, but primarily, it's like anything that you follow. You probably could name a bunch of stats about a bunch of video games that you play or something, or like characters in your favorite book, and you wouldn't even think twice about it, right?
You could go on and on about fucking Lord of the Rings for forever.
I don't know a thing about Lord of the Rings. I've never read the books,
either.
seen the movie. I don't know anything about Harry Potter, and I just smile and laugh with everyone else when someone makes some Harry Potter joke. I'm like, oh, Quidditch? Oh, yeah. I'm not even sure. I think that's the game with the brooms, but I don't know. So I'm saying, it makes, I don't know. To me, it's just part of my job. But I'm glad it's a good party trick.
Marina in the chat is already feeling empowered. She said, I felt like such a badass when I made a bitchy comment at my mom's bank about the interest on her savings account, because I think they were putting her and her mom's thing. Yeah, and the dude was like, oh, we have a better account, and so she got 100 times more in interest because of my bitchy comment. Yes, speak up.
Hell yeah.
She went from like a 0.05 to like a well, nothing has a 5% APY right now. I don't think the highest yield.
An encyclopedia, and this isn't even credit cards.
I like this stuff. I feel very empowered. I wish I had been like this at 18, when I was old enough to start opening accounts and things like that.
When I took out student loans and had no idea what that meant,
Well,
you were, and that's the thing. You give loans to children. They fucking give loans to children all the time. That blows my mind.
Right. Well, I mean, thank goodness you can't open credit cards as a college student. They used to go around and give out the T-shirts.
Oh, yes. I would go to the campus and be like, hey, you want some pizza or a T-shirt? I had so many like college shirts and like, I mean, my credit score is in the 800s just because I would open credit cards and throw them away in college.
So when I was in college, some kind of American Express that doesn't even exist anymore had a deal. Everyone signed up. You got a free companion ticket when you signed up for the card. I mean, it was like, here, have a free airline ticket. Or maybe it's just a free ticket, because I feel like I would use it to fly home. And like, I mean, it was crazy with the stuff they used to give away to get people to sign up. But back to what you're saying is I do have friends who really don't know anything about personal finance, and then if God forbid something happens to their husband or they get divorced, they just I can't even imagine how overwhelming that would be, to have to start your life without even really knowing what you need to know just to like live, I'm not even talking about the emotional, there's the emotional component to that, right? But then there's just like, I don't even know how, like, a budget. I don't even know what I can afford. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't have any credit, like stuff like that. Like you're in your 40s, you don't have any credit, or maybe you have a little bit of credit because you're an authorized user on your husband's credit card. And I just, you don't know what you don't know. And now that I know what I know, I'm like scared for people who don't know, That was a lot of no's in one sentence.
That's how I feel too about like, oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say
No,
about.
I just feel like people are too intimidated to ask because they realize they don't know what they don't know, and then people get scared to ask, and they get intimidated. Not me, but like if you sound like you're too smart about something to somebody who knows nothing, they get too scared to ask.
Yeah, because then they're like, it's a stupid question, or they're gonna like, or it's the wrong question, or I'm not gonna word it right. That's one thing I always would tell my direct reports as a manager too. It's such like a stupid cliche saying, but like literally for me, like, oh, this is probably a stupid question. I'm like, no question is a fucking stupid question. Ask the question, whatever it is. Like, I'm not gonna judge you.
I agree with that philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I wish I could empower all the women I know to just know something, about themselves. I mean, a generation ago, like my parents' generation, women knew nothing. Very few women knew anything, and the ones who did were really standouts. So then, if their husbands passed before them, they barely even knew how to write a check.
My dad's like always
town.
bringing that up, like to my mom. So like he's trying to get her to like learn more because she's like, oh, I wouldn't know what to do. Like if your dad dies before me, like I won't know what to do with this or this or this. Like, but I also think she's more capable than she realizes because she's the executor of my grandfather's estate, and so she had to do a lot for that. And like he passed away a couple years ago, but even before that there was like so much that she did for that and dealt with finances. And my grandfather had the same stockbroker, very into stocks, same stockbroker as what's his name?
What's his name?
Warren Buffett?
Not Warren Buffett, but Warren Buffett's right hand. I can't remember his name.
Oh gosh.
I love how close I was. That's all you get from me.
Yeah.
Charlie Munger? Charlie Munger.
I think that was it. Yeah. They had the same broker.
He's almost as well known. Yeah. Really?
Mm-hmm. And they both died actually within the same like month, same year.
Oh wow. Okay. Charlie Munger died not so long ago, maybe 2 years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, recent enough that I remember he was all over the news, and they kept airing like talks on CNBC that that Becky Quick had with Charlie Munger. I watch CNBC. I'm a nerd.
We love that.
No, I got really lucky because my grandpa was a bank manager, and so he took me to buy my first car. He taught me how to go through the contract and figure out what I was paying, what I wasn't paying. Is it going out, Jamie?
Yeah, like bad.
Fuck me. Is that better?
Just talk. I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks. So anyway, buying the car, but then he was the one who told me just open a credit card, use it, pay it off, and just hold on to it. And I mean, when it was time to buy our first house or whatever we needed, like my credit score was great because he had taught me that and that power.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids have had authorized user cards since they were 13.
Yeah, same. My dad did that for us, and I think that that's like one thing that a parent can do. That's like such a great thing. Like that's still on my account, friends,
Yeah, do it, and even if you don't give the card to your kids.
Yeah.
Just do it so they have it, and then they piggyback, and then, so empowerment.
Yeah,
a wonderful thing. This is so off the rails from what we had thought we were going to talk about. It's so interesting.
That's fine.
No, yeah, we just talk about what comes up is fine too. Yeah, we make an outline just to kind of like have some stuff in there, but we do whatever. We do whatever on this show.
Cool.
What was I just going to say? No, I forgot. Oh, I was going to say, like, along with, we're talking about, like, empowering women, but you were talking about, like, even just empowering your kids. Like, that's something that people have been yelling from the rooftops forever, is that, like, in middle school and high school especially, like, we need courses, like, personal finance courses, like, financial independence courses, something. Especially as these kids are about to go to college and maybe take out loans.
So it is a law in several states that that a personal finance class is required. I don't know if it actually is kicked in everywhere. I believe in Florida starts next year. Like a law was passed 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And then but when it's passed, it doesn't necessarily kick in right away. I didn't do this past fall, but the previous 2 falls, I taught personal finance to high school kids at a small private school where my kids used to go. So I taught intro to personal finance to high schoolers. And it was, I loved it. I didn't like balancing it with the regular full-time job because I had to leave work and go do this thing for 45 minutes to an hour and then come back and do my regular work. And it was just a little jarring, which is why I didn't do it this past fall. But it was so cool. I mean, these kids literally went from 0. I was like, even if you only know the difference between a checking and a savings account and that a credit score is important, that's more than like 90% of your peers.
Yeah.
You know? So it was just, I mean, and obviously they learned a little more than that. I don't know how much they retained, but that was really fun for me.
That's awesome. I didn't know you did that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I wish I could. Unfortunately, the class was at 2:30. So it was just if it was first thing in the morning, I would have done it again, or maybe at the end of the day. But time was just so stressful.
Were you working remotely then, or?
Yeah, I was working remotely. I did it at Forbes and at USAT, and it was just too crazy because I had to be at the class in person.
Yeah.
So it was nuts. I talk about burnout. It was like nuts. Like when that semester was over, I was like, you know,
thank God.
Not because the teaching was hard. It was like literally the making sure I was dressed for school because I'm always just in t-shirts at home, and then driving there in traffic, and then finding a parking spot, and then doing the class, and then coming home, and then jumping back on whatever work I had, and then thinking about my lessons ahead, and then grading the papers, but also doing my regular work. It was madness.
It does sound like
me. And running the household and managing 2 kids.
I mean, it really was like my friends were like, after I did it the first year, my friends were like, please don't ever do it again. And then I did do it again. I mean, what can let's say
just to spite them, first of all.
You said I couldn't survive. I'll show you. I'll explode. I mean, they paid me. It's hard to say no to something you like where you get paid.
Yeah.
It's just everything that swirled around those 45 minutes was like nuts.
Yeah.
There was no way to live. Too bad. I really liked it. Maybe I'll go back to it at some point.
I like that for you. Yeah. I wish you could find a place where it's not stressful and it won't like burn you out.
Yeah, if I could do it at 8 in the morning, it would be great. Or 9 in the morning even. But to do it like in the middle of the workday, it was just nuts. I mean,
you should reach out to them and tell them that. Be like, hey, I will do this, but it has to be at 9.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, it was the period that they had it open for electives, and I loved that school. That's where my kids went to school K through 8, so I had like a special place in my heart for the school and community. I made a lot of friends at that community. I don't know. I miss it, but that was like, sometimes I do very few mature things, and choosing not to do that was a mature thing. Not to do it anymore because it was making me too crazy, and the money wasn't worth the crazy.
Yeah.
I'll do a lot.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I know. It makes me sound so mature. I can't believe it.
I'm so glad we could be here for Robin's
for my reckoning.
Maturing, yeah. Robin's reckoning.
For my mature moment.
Ooh, Robin's reckoning. The alliteration. There's something about it. I like it.
Robin's reckoning. Yeah. That's going to be the title of my first album.
One of the things we talked about with you working is that
on Twitch.
You've moved from like a management position and you're not managing anymore. And so can you kind of talk about sort of that switch and how it feels to not have to be on anymore and like moving everything and just being able to be at work? Have you noticed a difference? Do you feel calmer in your life? What's that like?
I mean, so our industry, and I'm including both you, our industry was absolute madness in the last quarter of 2024. And I got moved right before it really started to get nuts. So I have very mixed feelings about it. But I was so busy as a lead editor for this project I was working on, where I worked with Jamie. It was like nuts, and you adjust to that. That becomes your new normal, to juggle 30 balls in the air, and that it stops feeling crazy. It just feels like normal at work. And then that was very rapidly changed when I was transitioned back to a writing role. I hadn't been in a writing role in like over 3 years because was a writer, and then I was a deputy editor, then I was a lead editor, then I got moved to a lead editor somewhere else. So it was really like almost like tires screeching. We're used to like chugging along, and then all of a sudden you're in a school zone and you got to go really slow. And it was really hard for me for a lot of reasons. There was just a lot of emotion around what was going on in the industry and the abject fear of getting laid off. That was very scary for a long time, and it's very stressful to live in that kind of fear for a long. I mean, it always exists. I'm not layoff proof, but when the industry is totally, I don't want to say destroyed by Google, but it kind of was affiliate person. Anyway, so now I'm in a much better place with it than I was in terms of like having much less madness. Instead of juggling 20 balls at work, I'm juggling maybe 2, which isn't hard at all. Anyone can juggle 2 balls.
And sometimes that's a big relief too, to like go from that to that. No,
it wasn't a relief. I mean, it was I like to be busy and I like to be stimulated, and I trend towards ADD a little bit. So it was really hard for me to just dial it back like that. But what it has allowed me to do, like now I'm on the other side of it. And what I've realized is I have all this opportunity to take the headspace that's not exhausted after the workday and expand and try other things. Look at me. I'm on Twitch, like I joined a women's networking group, and I'm trying to work on building a personal platform. I have no idea what that's going to look like or what that means, but that's part of the process of trying these new things. And I'm trying to make posts on LinkedIn and, all the social things about various things, and see how that feels to be more of a video person and not just like typing away at the keyboard. So that was a very long-winded way of answering, but isn't this what a podcast is for? Just talk. Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't like it, and now I have grown to embrace it. So I'm still really, really busy, but instead of busy doing the things I have to do, now I have more time to do the things I want to do.
Which is awesome.
Do you feel like you have a weird sense of what work actually is, like working in those high-paced environments? Like, so I came from startups, and so I didn't really understand like what actual work was versus startup work or remote work. Did you find like you kind of have to feel that work basic?
Well, once I came to Forbes Advisor, I've been in I feel like I've been in startup mode for 5 years. Forbes Advisor, I was there like just 6 months after it launched. So it was me. I was the only writer, and I had 2 editors, and there were maybe 10 of us in total on the editorial team. And it was like that for a long time. And then after, I think, 3-ish years, I got moved to this startup white label project.
And then I came along.
That was mad. That's when you came along, and everything changed for the better.
Yes.
But that was more of a startup than Forbes Advisor was. That was a startup at a crazy frantic pace where if we had been in an office, we would have been sleeping under our desks. I mean, it was like nuts.
Get those
like
desk
expectations
hammocks.
Here.
Have you seen those?
Right? That's true. Your feet, not your head, right?
No, they have little hammocks that you can actually like sleep in. I mean,
like string under your desk?
If you're tiny.
Oh, I thought you meant I don't know. I think of George Costanza on Seinfeld when he made a desk, a nook under his desk when he worked for the Yankees. Yeah. That's what I think of. Or there's a picture circulating of one of the guys who founded Yahoo sleeping under his desk. I don't know if it was Philo or Yang or whatever. And I'm like, but that's what it would have been like, right, Jamie? If we had had an office. I mean, it was that intense.
I was doing that just at home, sleeping under my desk every day.
Yeah, I really am loving that I have this much. I didn't love it, and now I'm at a place where I love it. I really love having the mental headspace to pursue things that I enjoy, because I don't think I had it for 5 years.
Oh yeah.
I was just head down, work. I mean, I'm still working hard, but I'm not juggling multiple things.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much that had burned me out. I mean, I just didn't learn anything. I mean, I wasn't really learning much new outside
or
of
being
work.
Creative. That's what we talk about a lot on the show is
oh yeah.
Until Rebecca and I started meeting about doing this, well, it was about doing something else, but then we did this. It unlocked something in me, because I was always I'm not a creative person. I'm just I'm a writer, okay, and I'm an editor, great. I'm just not creative, and it just flipped a switch in my brain, and like creativity just started pouring out of me, and I was doing things that like I was really enjoying doing, like doing like some design work and making graphics and stuff for social, and it was great. So it's
That's
just
so cool.
nice
That's
to
awesome.
yeah, and I was just appalled because I was like, oh, I just thought I wasn't a creative person. No, I was just burnt out as fuck, and that's all I had time for was just that, and like keeping myself and my cats alive, you know.
Right, right. There's not, as a working mom, there's not a lot left over between work and family, and what little is left over, I also try to like maintain connections with friends.
Yeah.
You know, like that's important to me too. I don't know where I'd be without some of my friends. I mean, they've been there, you know, some of my closest friends are absolutely part of my support system. But friendships don't exist in a vacuum. You have to give them love and life too. So, and usually as a working mom, it's like work and family take most of my energy. And then what little is left over is for friends. So like, where's the time for me? Right.
Yeah.
And now I have a little mental bandwidth for me. And, it took me a really long time to get here. I mean, you know, I switched to being a writer in July, and it's now March. And now I'm like, you know, it takes a long time to unwind when you're used to running
Yeah.
at 100 miles an hour. And I think I'm starting to unwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I worked at a creative agency before where I am now, and for 2 years, anything creative that came from me, either A it was wrong, told it was wrong, or B, it wasn't actually for me, it was for someone else. So to back you up, like I just was like, well, I'm not really creative, but the amount of freedom I've had working with you and not having someone behind shit, amazing. Like how much freer you actually feel. And oh, I am creative. It's just been really to figure out.
Because you don't have anyone, you guys can say whatever you want. I mean, that's a freedom you don't have at work. You can't say whatever you want. I mean, I can say a card sucks. Well, I wouldn't say sucks. I can say this card is terrible for just about everybody. But that's not really freedom. That's my job to give an honest review, right? I can't. There's plenty that I can't say. You can't say it because it's inappropriate or it's, I don't know, you know, like you have the freedom to do whatever you want with this. I mean, there are very few outlets in life where you have the freedom to do whatever you want without reprisal. I mean, obviously you can't offend somebody on purpose or like, you know, I mean, you can, but you know, within the confines of normal society, you have freedom. No one's telling you it has to be written or said or spoken or designed or look a certain way. That's cool. I do want to Twitch now.
Yeah.
You can even tell stories about your boss coming to you to get her nudes off of online and you having to help her with that. You can even talk about that.
Robin,
I don't even have that story. I don't have that story.
That's so weird because I do.
Let's hear it. Can you? No. That's weird.
No, she already did.
She's an asshole.
I'm always trying to like stop her from saying stuff like that.
Male or female boss?
Female. Came to me.
That's upsetting. Were they real or were they AI? Like, you know how that happens where they take a body.
No. She was real. It was all of her ex-husbands online, and she came to me and was like, "Help me get these." And I did. I didn't tell anyone. Telling everyone now.
How did you do it? Don't you need to like pay money for people? Once it's out there, it's out there.
No, I contacted like the web administrator, just back and forth, and he took them down, and it was gone.
It was on one place. It wasn't like viral, like movie stars. It goes viral or whatever.
Yeah, and then in 2020, she called me. Was like, "We need someone like you. Come work for me." I did, and 2 fucking years of my life where she ground me down to fucking powder.
Oh no.
And then ceremoniously kicked me to the curb. So
that's a terrible story. I'm so sorry.
It is a terrible story. She's a terrible person.
Yeah.
They exist. They're out there. And it makes you wonder, are they a terrible person or are they a terrible person because someone was terrible to them in the workplace and they don't know how else to be and they think they have to be a jerk? I'm not saying to feel sorry for them, but I'm just saying.
She's a monster. She's an absolute monster.
All right. On her own in any scenario. Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, and again, without this, I don't think I ever would have recovered any of that creativity back or anything. Like, this has been super healing, and I think as far as competence goes, has been like, oh, I can do a thing, and I do know how to. fuck you. So
Right.
it's been great. It's been great for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yes. Anytime you try something out of your comfort zone and you don't fail, I think it's super empowering. I'm enjoying making these videos, even though I look at them, I'm like, why did I just make that? I don't have anything to say. I'm just talking.
Tell
Like,
us
there's
about
no
your
call
video
to action.
journey. Like, tell us how that
My
kind of came
video journey.
about.
I literally just started. So, my boss, she's my boss's, I don't know, my friend at work, who also happens to be 2 pay grades above me on my team, who I consider a friend outside of work. She started doing this video challenge, and she was maybe a week or 2 into it. I'm like, that's cool. And I keep seeing other people in our personal finance space, they're all making videos, and I'm like, why don't I do this? It seems so easy. I have so much to say. And then I started doing it. I'm like, I don't know that I have that much to say. Like, it gets really weird. It's very different for me to have a live conversation with you guys than it is to stare into a camera and talk uninterrupted. Like, back and forth is much easier than talking basically to yourself. And so it's been very challenging, because I say stuff and I record it and then I re-record it, and then I do it like 10 times and I think it's right, because people aren't going to watch, you want to make a good impression and you want to make sure you're being effective. And then you look at it, you're like, well, I don't have anything to say. Like, I don't have a message. I don't have a platform that I'm trying to get people to go visit, or a product I'm trying to sell, or I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. And I realized, well, that's part of my challenge, right? I'm making videos. I'm trying to include some information kind of about credit cards, but I'm not just, part of my journey is like, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I'm not just a credit card writer and editor. Like, I have other skills. And in this economy, I think it's important to not rely, to have multiple streams of income. And so I'm not sure what that looks like for me yet, but that's my video journey. That's my why.
And you're learning new skills. Yeah, you're learning new skills.
I'm learning new skills. I'm learning to ask my son for help. And hopefully, by osmosis, some of these skills I will pick up. But I'm starting to have it doesn't seem that hard when he's doing it. I don't know. But I realize it's sparking creativity in me. I'm getting an idea for a video and what I want it to look like. An idea will come to me like, oh, this is how I want it to look. And whether or not I execute it isn't even necessarily the point. It's just that I'm getting ideas for ways to express myself in different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fun. Even if only my friends are liking it and they're like, yeah, you go make those videos. We love them. That's cool. That's enough for me. Like, I'm not, I'm certainly not doing anything unique. There's a lot of people who make videos, but I have not made videos before.
Yeah.
And I find it exciting and empowering and cool. And it makes me laugh most of the time. And that's
why we do this,
important.
Because it makes us laugh. Yeah.
If you enjoy it, as long as you enjoy it, you should do it. And if it's not hurting anybody, it's not hurting anybody for me to make videos, and it makes me laugh and feel good. Hopefully I'm imparting some wisdom in there. Hopefully I'm adding something to the conversation. If not, I will be at some point, because I'll get better and I'll know what I'm doing.
You said yesterday all the time you spend with like making stuff or doing stuff for other people, like dinner, laundry, that kind of thing. You're doing something just for you, which is so cool. Like, you don't have to give it away to anyone. It's for you.
You're totally right. The same comment I just gave you guys about the podcast, I guess that applies to me. You're right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's important. Yeah. It's just for me. So, so I'm enjoying that. And
but also follow her on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. And LinkedIn. And
you
can't follow me on Facebook, I guess, but I post the same video everywhere. I'm not at a place where I can make multiple videos, but, it's really interesting because now, and again, I've only been doing this for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe 1 video a week, sometimes 2, but it is like, now everything is inspiration for me. Like, I could make a video about this. Like, today's International Women's Day. I was like, I can make a video about this. And I did. And but there's a lot of thought in there. Like, what's the background going to be? How am I going to make it? What am I going to say? I don't want to just say Happy International Women's Day. What's my point? So, yeah, it's cool. I'd liked slowing down. See, I'm not. I got really hyper talking about something I was interested in. You can hear it, right?
Yes.
And this is how I am at work, talking about credit cards.
I know. I missed it.
Blah, blah, blah. I miss you too. I miss you in the workplace. I have to say, even though work is not your family, and because your family won't fire you and work will.
Here we go.
I have met so many fabulous, wonderful people through my jobs over the year, like people that I truly consider friends outside of work. And it's just, you know, it's been such a nice benefit of my jobs that no one could have predicted or expected. Obviously, not everybody is my friend, but I've been very lucky that I've never been on it. Well, I shouldn't say never, ever, ever. But since I've been in the last 5 years, I've never had to work closely with someone where I'm just like, you know, and that's just been a gift. I mean, I have so many personal phone numbers, like Jamie, you know, like people in my phone from work.
I'm sorry,
And
you
we're
have
all
my
remote,
number?
so yes. No, but I'm saying like for a remote team, I don't think that happens a lot where everybody can, you know, we have all these WhatsApp groups where we can talk freely outside of work and connect and share. And it's really, I'm very grateful for it, you know, because it's very easy to work remotely and have zero work friends. And I feel like I have a lot of work friends.
That's like how I know both of you. And like also women, especially coming over to Forbes, that was one thing I really loved about the prospect of working there was there were so many women in like manager and like leadership roles more than normal.
Tons.
And I was like, oh, thank God. So met even more because of that. Patrick did say, hi, Pat, by the way, he said, even if you fail at something, at least you have the experience. And I think, I think that's like big. Even Pat, for both you and I who are looking for jobs right now, I even think about that for jobs. Because even if you learn more about the job and you find out that like, oh, I actually don't think this is going to work for me or for whatever reason, but maybe you have an interview, instead of canceling it, just do the interview anyway, because it's like the experience and it's not going to like harm anything. You learned from it, you know?
Yeah, I was interviewing when I was interviewing for Forbes Advisor, I was also interviewing for a similar position somewhere else. But that somewhere else was much more corporate-y, and this was more like a startup. And I was like, this corporate thing is just not for me. Like, I don't want to have to put on makeup to get on a Zoom call. I don't want to have to, you know, I want to just be able to sit at home in my t-shirt and yoga pants with my hair in a bun. And so I went through the process with them, and I was very lucky. I had the choice between two jobs, but yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, it's important to know what you don't want and what you don't like, because how else do you know what you do like?
And interview them is like a big one that I'm always reminding people of. Like, you want to interview them to make sure that like that company is going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, although you don't ever really know until you're in it.
Very true. That's one reason really I almost didn't want to apply to the position with Forbes, because so it's Forbes Advisor, which is like baby Forbes, I guess. But all I thought of was Forbes. It's Forbes. It's a big corporation. So like all I thought was just like stodgy white men. Honestly, that's like all I thought about. And I was like, I don't know.
Historically what they're known to be.
Yeah. I'm like, is it going to be like that? I don't know. But then after interviewing with like Karina and like other people there, they stressed that like, no, this is different. This is more of like a startup feel. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of put at ease, but that was one reason I kind of was thinking maybe I didn't want to go there, but yeah.
I didn't even meet you until the side project, because you were on a different team.
Yeah. I wasn't there that long.
Okay. Yeah, and it gets a little siloed too. I don't know really. I don't know many people on the other teams, only the people that have been there for a really long time who we used to work closely together, you know?
Yeah. And then me trying
whatever.
to like do little like happy hour gossip chit chats with like all the lead editors, and then me not showing up because I forgot. I would do that all the time. Robin would be like, Jamie, are you going to come to the chat today? And I was like, oh, oops.
No, but Robin, you say you ask questions all the time. I ask questions to people who I kind of want to know, but I'm not on their team, and it's just kind of like a little they know. Next thing you know, they're sending you pictures of like their kids' Halloween costume. I don't know, it just kind of happens.
That's so very specific, Rebecca.
That is so specific. I mean, it's amazing you came up with it. I think at one point there was an initiative to like try to have like a virtual coffee with people on different teams, but everything was just paused for like 4 months. I mean, everything was just not normal for a long time. Like, I don't think anyone had the mental energy to like connect with a person who they might not ever be working with again. So, but I think I should resurrect that.
Can we please tell you about our coffee dates with the Russian engineers at Student Loan here?
Yes, please
because
do.
They were the funniest and worst thing I've ever gone to, because not only are they Russian, they are engineers. So when you ask them questions like, because, also they're trying to learn English, so they're practicing English on you. Questions like, what's your favorite color? And they go, gray. What's your favorite food? Whatever my wife makes. And it was just excruciating.
Like talking
for 15
to a robot.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fun. My favorite color is gray, whatever my wife.
What are your hobbies?
What's your favorite animal? Gray.
What do you like to do? He goes, I don't know.
In Russia, everything is gray.
I like to do these awkward coffee chats. Obviously, he was forced to do it. But that's so funny.
Well, that's one thing is like, that's what I was going to say about those is like, every time I've had that and like the company has been like, let's do this, you know, it's always very forced and like awkward. Like,
it's a nice idea.
Yeah. But like you guys do like the credit card, like the credit card chat, you know?
Yeah, we have a meeting once a week, but yeah, there's a lot of chat there. We have another chat. I mean, it's been kind of quiet lately, but I mean, yes, I could easily reach if I'm talking to someone for work purposes. It easily also includes some personal chit chat and banter. You know, I've met everyone on the team in person more than once at this point, I think, which is cool. But you know, I mean, I love remote work, and I don't understand all the uproar about, you know, oh, you miss so much when you're not in the office. I'm like, look at all the friends I've made in the last couple years.
I don't know who these people are.
I mean, they must be people. I don't know. They're not people in our industry, because our industry is all about staring at a screen, right? So, and I know when I used to work at Bankrate, I would drive very far every day to go to an office, and it was great because it was me back at work after not working for a while.
Office at Bankrate.
I went to the office at Bankrate in Palm Beach Gardens, not New York, and it was 45 minutes there and an hour home.
Oh God!
And my kids were little, and it was just such dead time for me in the car. And I was like, these are 2 hours of my life. I could be, you know, like my kids are eating chicken nuggets every single night or hot dogs because I wasn't home in time to make dinner. My husband doesn't know how to cook. Whatever. It was just, it was a great experience to have that job, because then it led to me getting my next job, which was remote, and I learned about credit card. But working from home, I'm so much more productive. I'm just so much more productive, you know?
Same.
You know, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on the personal connection part, because I'm making connections. I mean, how many people in that office? I think I made like 2 friends. Since I've been at Forbes Advisor, I've made maybe 20 friends. You know, it's just because you're around people doesn't mean you're going to connect with them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm so sorry I laughed when she said it's been really quiet, and my brain went, well, that's because no one's there anymore. I'm very.
But that's
that's because Jamie's not there anymore, is what you meant, right?
I meant because we were head down, and there wasn't like, we're just, you know, we're like, so we have very specific tasks. There's not a lot of ideating because we're not really doing a lot of different type of things right now. That's what I meant. But Jamie, it's quite sad.
They got rid of their best people ever. It's not because of that.
See, Robin was even there longer than me, but anytime we ended a meeting, like people or like our manager would be like, Jamie, you have anything else? Like it was always me. They would always be like, Jamie, do you have anything? And sometimes I was like, Robin asks more questions than me. Like, why is it always me?
I do ask a lot of questions. I do.
But it was always me.
Thing, man.
My favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do in those meetings is just like when they're like, okay, like got you a little time back, everybody can like leave early, and I'd be like, wait, everybody, and everyone would be like, you know, and I'd be like, I just want to say I love you guys, bye. They're like, you stop it.
I have a couple screenshots of when you were working there, and I remember when you told me about Robin the first time. And she had like popped up, and you sent me a screenshot of the Slack.
Oh, do you have it?
I think so.
That's amazing. The one you were talking about?
She said the F. She said something. Who the F knows? But it was like someone else asked a question today, and then you popped off in Slack, and I remember you talking about.
Yeah.
So that was my.
I was like,
Let me see
look,
if I can find
there's
it.
another person here who speaks up.
You did. You're like, someone else asked a question today.
Some of our peers were even telling me like, oh yeah, Jamie, bring that up at the, they'd say something and they'd say, Jamie, bring it up at the next. And I finally snapped, Robin, and I was like, I don't even know if you were in the chat for this or not, but I was like, I'm sick of being the only one. I'm like, you guys have to speak up too.
I was there for that.
Yeah,
I was there for that.
And like, Robin's like, oh yeah, we remember. We all had a private chat after that.
No, there was no private chat after. I just,
I was like, other people have to speak up too. But then other people that never spoke up started speaking up. And I was like, that's great. And like, I think they felt more empowered.
And I think over time, as we got more comfortable with each other and with we had an awesome manager. So that I think, so that made it a lot easier to speak up. So
yeah,
I felt heard and seen.
The amount of inappropriate bullshit you and I send each other is truly blowing my mind, and now I can't find it. I know it was on here. Now it's hidden.
It'd be from like 2 years ago. If you could find
3 years ago, right?
3 years?
I think it.
Yeah, probably.
You were like, "Who the F even knows?" is what it said, and Jamie was like, "Look at her." So
maybe that's why I was also so shocked, is because she was like, she said "fuck" or "f" or something, and I was like, "Yeah."
Probably
no, she did say. She did say. No, you said F. You said F. I didn't.
I said F. Yeah.
Didn't want to besmirch your.
I just said it now.
Marina said there was another chat. Jamie just wasn't in it. Thanks, Marina. Thanks.
Marina was in it though. That's how she knows about it.
Son of a bitch. Get out of my life.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
How many screenshots of Slack were you taking? I don't know if I've ever taken a screenshot of Slack. That's so funny.
Yes, it's so
was
funny.
Specifically because, like, it was specifically because you were like someone else. Because I'm not trying to speak for you, but I know you were struggling with like feeling either punished or ostracized.
I got beaten down a lot, like, and for a while before, like, I was beaten down by other women in leadership roles, like above me, and my managers who were like other women that were like making
That's the ickiest.
Yeah, making me feel like shit for speaking up, or like, it was awful. And like, so it was,
I'm not man bashing. I'm really wondering what our experience would have been like if we hadn't had like 2 women who were in charge of us when we worked together. I wonder if we would have been. I just wonder if it would have been different. I guess I am man. I don't mean to man bash. I like men. I have 2 young men that I've given birth to. I'm married to a man. But I don't work with them. So
we man bash all the time.
Yeah.
It's fine. We can man bash.
No, I'm not trying to make a blanket statement like all men are inferior managers to women. I don't believe that to be true. I'm just wondering what the dynamic would have been, because most of my managers have been women in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, I think it stood out so much for her because you were the first one to make her feel not shitty, and you were leading by example by asking questions. And I remember, because you and I have been talking about it, and you've been so down, and like I remember you telling me like so excited.
Oh, that hurts my heart.
Just being like,
I'm
someone
really sorry.
else, and
you were the light at the end of the tunnel for me, Robin.
It's so funny to me because I just can't, like, I don't know what it's like to be shy, and I'm not making fun of people. I don't ever feel like not speaking up, and so to hear that like you felt weird about speaking up, or that other people don't feel comfortable speaking up, it's like as foreign to me as anything that's foreign.
Yeah. I tend to manage a lot of introverts, which is fine. I'm an introvert. And I think it was harder for like some of my direct reports, like at different stages, to speak up because they were shy and they were so introverted. So they didn't want to speak up because they didn't want to call attention to themselves. And I told every one of them at some point, like, hey, I want you to be comfortable. If you're not comfortable speaking up, you can always ask me and I will be happy to for you. But I also want to empower you to speak up, because like what you have to say or ask is valid and fine. And so like I do want you guys to like branch out and start speaking up for yourselves a little bit, but I also understand being an introvert and a little shy and maybe, you know, in a role where you feel like you shouldn't, that like nobody cares what you think, but it's like, I care what you think, everyone else cares what you think.
You're shy, but you have a very quick wit and you are quick to share it, which is like not common in someone who's shy. You don't seem afraid to speak your mind.
I'm not shy. Me?
I was gonna say, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah,
I
I don't
was
know. I mean,
so
I guess I don't understand being introverted. I don't know.
Jamie's not shy, please.
So
She
what's
talks-
the definition
we went
of
on
an introvert to you?
Okay, so I will tell you. We went on vacation together, and this bitch, every time a waiter, oh my, well, how are you doing? No, it's so great. And she would just talk to people. We were at a store. She's like, oh, these pants are great. Have you tried these pants? I'm like, Jamie, we don't even know them. And you were telling the lady about those soft, fuzzy fleece pants. You're like, these are so soft. And you just were nicely talking to her about it. That's the difference.
That's the
because I would
Midwest in me,
never.
I think. That's because I grew up in the Midwest. That's very Midwest.
But you're very good at it though. Like if you're, I mean, it just seems like it comes second nature to you. You are excellent at talking to people, and I am not.
That's why
Nor
we
do I
make a
want
good
to.
team.
But that's the difference. I don't talk to people, and I don't want to. Jamie's very good.
There are a lot of people, to be clear, there are a lot of people I don't want to talk to. But
So what makes you an introvert? You just get tired of talking to people after a long period of time?
I think the biggest difference, and like this is what I heard that I think makes the most sense to me, is like extroverts are like filling their cup when they're like around people. Introverts,
100%. Yeah.
they're being drained when they're around people. Even if it's this, like after this, like I'm gonna need a little bit by myself because like I love this, I love doing this, I love you guys, this is fun. But it's still like a lot. Like even if you know how many meetings we were in sometimes, like I would be in like 4.5 hours of meetings one day, and like I would literally just have to like go lie down in my bed for like 15-20 minutes, not sleep, and just like lie there in like a little bit of darkness and like silence because I needed to like recharge.
Understood.
I mean, there's lots of other things, but I think that's like the main.
No, I know. It's
difference.
just so interesting to me because it's such a completely. My husband's more like that. Like he is fine to chat, but like at the end of the night, he wants his alone time. And I get like sad if I'm not around people. I don't know. It's just so interesting how people are wired so differently with that stuff.
Yeah. I literally cannot even imagine.
I feel like I missed
Trying.
so much of the chat here. What's happening?
Oh, Rob's getting ready to tell his boss that she's being, I don't know.
Talk to my new manager about how she's coming off. How's she coming off, Rob?
You know what she really loves is if you tell her she looks a little tired or ask if it's like she has her period. She's really going to love that.
Oh my God. Women love that.
I hate that.
Love that.
Oh, you look tired today. Have you had a man say that to you before in the workplace, Robin?
Oh God, I don't think so.
Oh man.
Hope
or
not.
like if you're not wearing makeup and they go, "Are you sick?"
No, because I never wear makeup. When I went to work, I wear a little makeup, but no, I always look like complete crap at home. And in fact, I've gotten so comfortable looking like crap, like I don't even try for the Zoom meetings. This is me trying right now. I have my hair down.
You look beautiful.
Did great. Mascara on.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're very kind, but there are plenty of people who wouldn't even dream of being in a Zoom work meeting without looking semi-professional.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people. Well, that's great. I wish I had that gene. I am like missing that gene.
I love
like the gene that likes to get dressed up and like put on lots of makeup and always look fancy, and I don't have that gene.
I think I'm the same.
I know.
I think Rob and I are actually just the same person.
Except for the entire introvert extrovert thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a pretty big one. Yeah, that's a pretty big one.
Paper said, hi Paper, by the way. She said, yes, that's how I understand it too, the introvert extrovert. I'm very chatty, but I'm an introvert and I need to be by myself like after work. Yeah. And Patrick says, hiss, sun, and people.
Exactly.
Love that.
Oh shit, I love it.
Rebecca, you're an introvert and not chatty? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I have it's like a cat. Like I have people and that's it. And I don't
Yeah, she
usually
never
need new
shuts up to
people
me, I have to say.
or want
But
new
yet
people.
you're involved in this
obviously.
thing where you've committed once a week to talking to a new person that you don't have
We
to.
fought
You're electing
a
to.
lot. We fought a lot about that.
About having a guest each week?
No, about this. Like, I really did not want to do this. I did not want to be perceived. I wanted to be behind a microphone. I didn't want to be seen.
Oh, cool.
I know. And Jamie made me, and now I have a new skill.
She keeps
You have a
saying
new skill.
she keeps saying
And
that
you're,
I
like,
made her, but it
fancy.
was definitely a business partner decision. So
Yeah.
it was.
I know, but
If you weren't
you got
comfortable.
yourself made up, and like you're doing great. You asked really good questions.
Yeah. What
She told me we could make more money this way, so I mean that's
You've made $65. You said. I mean, that's incredible.
Don't
That's
share our
more than I made.
finances, Robin. We want to keep
I meant
that
from this. Sorry, I meant just from this call. Just from this call.
just
alone.
from this
$65.
from
Is it
this call.
It was just
$65.
And that's much more than I made from my videos. Much more.
Yeah, but you're not on Twitch yet, see?
Great. True.
Yeah.
True.
Gotta get Twitchy.
You're right. Or Substack or any of those
Yeah.
things.
I'm telling
Listen to you,
as a job,
Substack.
Jamie,
Oh.
yes. You could do this, Jamie. You can be a consultant to like get people set up on their Twitch, like Streamlabs.
Yeah.
Telling you, you'd be amazing at this.
Marina
Wouldn't that
says
be funny if I next week had you guys as a guest on my Twitch?
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
made
Yes,
Next week. Oh my
That's
god.
great.
set up for me. And I
Damn.
would make you talk to strangers on it the entire call with no input from me. How would that go?
You're really winning points with
that
Rebecca
be
right
cool?
now. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. That's what I'm here to do.
Edibles.
I'll be there. Don't worry.
Those are cycling frog
Okay.
too. Everybody has cycling frog
Yes,
now.
they are.
I don't know what
They're
cycling. I don't
It's a
know.
brand. It's fine.
It's for CBD for pain, but Jamie was like, "Try them."
Yeah, Manic's like, I
CBD.
recognize that label.
Oh, it calms you down too.
Yeah.
Makes you chill.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I feel
This
like
is that time, Robin.
Yeah.
The feeling.
oh, you guys have
Just
a
so
feeling.
you know, when you're asking, that's the feeling. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were
Right?
Robin's
Just
like,
get these
when
crumbs
do
up.
we end? And I told her the same thing I told Rebecca on our first episode. I said, I feel like it'll just be a feeling. And then Rebecca just said to like wash her hands of us, and
I don't know. Once you pulled out the CBD gummies, like
Yeah.
Robin's like,
cool.
I need to go take some on my own and have a good night. So
I'm a mother.
Have it.
I don't talk about these things.
I don't talk about
Oh,
these.
no.
things.
No,
She's like
absolutely
spinning in her
no.
chair. I see you over there.
No. No.
This
But-
was awesome. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you so much.
Oh my god, thank you for
I had
coming
so
on.
much fun.
I would
Yeah, we
I've
can
heard
like.
so much about you. I've heard
I
so
love
much.
that. Thank
So
you
much.
so
I'm
much.
so glad to meet you in person. It's
I
been
am
so much fun.
so glad to meet you too. I know. I love knowing someone else in my industry because you know all the madness.
yeah.
But I really enjoyed talking, and I enjoyed this much FaceTime with you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it not on Twitch. Let's do it again soon, though. You know,
Oh,
like
for sure.
a less structured
On your
way that doesn't
podcast.
require my teenager. Yeah. On my Twitch next week.
Yeah, next week on Robin's Twitch,
Okay.
you guys.
Yeah. My logo might be a raccoon in a trash can.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
Hold on. I am going to float this, Robin. There is some, like, if you had your kid, I don't know if he's applying to colleges yet. If you did have him on social media, Twitch, that's a whole thing he could add to his resume or like a skill set. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I mean, we should leverage that.
Robin's
because
not
he's
really on
helping
Twitch.
with all my videos.
Patrick's asking
Not
for
really-
your
I know.
Twitch
I don't
link.
really want to be it.
He's like,
You're
"Can we
so
get a
sweet,
link?"
Patrick.
she will be
Have
in
a
the
look.
show notes when she is.
But you
We'll
can-
add it in.
I don't see myself starting it. That's a little bit down the road. Let me work on making my videos first, where I
Bamboozled.
dispense minimal
No,
personal financial advice.
Yeah, follow
they're
her
so
on
much
also-
fun to watch.
IG and TikTok.
My videos are. Thank you.
Yeah.
They are.
So much fun. So much. What's your favorite one, Rebecca?
You were wearing a green dress. What were you talking about?
She doesn't remember.
What was she
you
talking
really
about?
did
the
watch.
dress?
Oh, you really
I
did
did
see them.
watch.
Wait,
That
which
was
one
kind
was-
of a quiz. Sorry.
Which
I
one
had
was
a
the
green
green
shirt on.
dress?
Yeah.
It was like, I think you had a palm tree behind you. What were you? But
Yeah,
you just,
yes.
it's like,
Yeah,
You make it seem just like
right.
you're talking, and it's just like it's just very.
Oh, that's so nice.
You make it
so much
just
better. I like
seem
it.
like you were talking. I love that. That's
good. That's
You
the
know
goal.
what I mean.
Yeah, no, but like I'm having a conversation. That's what I wanted
Yeah,
to
she's not doing like,
Right.
hey everybody, welcome to Credit Card. She doesn't do that. It's
Yeah.
just like your friend who's telling you. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, thank you. That's the goal.
I did watch.
I'm so impressed. Thank you. I'll give you all the credit card advice you need.
yeah,
Well,
seriously.
thank you so much again.
Since you have no one to call on, Rebecca. All right,
How about
guys.
you?
Thank you. This was
Yeah.
great. I have
Thank you
no
so
idea how
much.
to disconnect from this, so I'm going to let you disconnect.
That's okay.
me.
Amy will do it.
Oh, I will disconnect
Okay.
you. Okay, I'll disconnect you. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Robin.
Good
Thank you for
night.
being here. Follow Robin, watch her
Absolute pleasure.
videos, and I guess I will kick you. This feels wrong, but I will talk to you
No,
soon.
it feels so good. All right.
Thank you, Robin.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Oh, so then do we do this? Oh no, we don't do that. I guess we're just gonna. Nobody.
We're just gonna
It's fine.
close it. Close it.
Well, I don't know why it's.
Shut it down. We're still on.
I know we're still on. Oh, I was gonna say goodbye. We didn't say a proper goodbye.
I know. That's why I was like, shut it down.
Okay,
shut it down.
Rebecca's losing it. So she's like, I don't know. You guys know I love long goodbyes. I just wanted to say, like, thank you,
I
everybody.
have so much fucking respect for that woman. Just
For-
dropped off the face of this earth. This is great. Oh,
We love Robin. Robin's amazing.
she told us she Irish goodbye, and she literally Irish.
Oh, I kicked her.
Oh, I thought she hung up.
She
I'm
said she
sorry.
didn't know how. So I said, well, I can just kick you. And she said,
Oh.
okay. So I kicked her.
All right, well, never mind. Robin's not funny anymore. Jesus, Jordan.
She's so funny. Quick, put a cat in the box. Oh yeah, we could. Well, whatever. We don't have time. But please, podcast feeds, give us 5 stars. If like reviews will help too. I don't think we have any reviews yet. We might have one somewhere. I don't think we have any reviews.
Yeah.
Also, if you are the person talking about vegan chicken in our Spotify, is it Spotify or Apple comments? We're trying to figure out who it is. Like, we don't know who you are. Oh, vegan. Perfect. Great. But seriously, it helps us a ton if you just like follow us. That's like subscribe. So follow us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah. With your support, we have become the #1 mental health podcast in Norway.
In Norway,
So, like,
yeah. Thank you, Tora. Thank you, Tora, for that. I think
thank you
Tora's
so
here.
much for your support. Like, conquering one by one, but just here we go.
Next week, you want to tell them what we're going to get into next week?
Yes. It's my sister. She is coming. We are going to ask her all the questions. And she went from working in a museum to working as an electrician's apprentice, currently getting her now back in school, and loves it more than anything she did. And she's also in a union, and she's really fucking smart.
Great.
And I'm kind of mad that she's not streaming this. But that's fine. I'll talk to her later about it.
Streaming what?
But not like she's not on here.
Oh, yeah.
What? Yeah.
I don't think she's ever been on here, has she?
No,
Not a lot
Rachel,
of-
you haven't.
Yeah, Rachel. We'll see you next week, Rachel.
Yeah. You're going to be the table when me and Jamie play bar. Okay?
When we what?
Oh, yeah. Every time we had a friend come over and she wanted to play with us, we're like, you can be the table.
You're horrible. You are a terrible person.
Yeah.
We're gonna end this because Rebecca's just a horrible sibling. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for showing
That
Robin.
sounds a lot like someone whose siblings made them be the table. Youngest.
No, I would
That sounds a
never
lot
be a
like-
table. No. I am the youngest, but like, please, no. And also I'd like cry to mom and dad and be like, they're trying to make me be a table, and then they like had to.
Want to be...
They had to let me be an actual participant.
Oh, you can ask her about stabbing me in the leg with a pencil.
Should I ask about
That's
the
a good one.
marbles? Okay. Oh, okay. She was a rug.
Nope.
Shut up, Marina. All right. Love you guys. Thank you all for being here. Should we raid somebody? let's raid somebody.
Bye, Marina. Thank you for being here.
Bye. Who are we gonna raid?
Oh, Bad Sissy has someone. She's gonna do it. She has
Who
someone.
has somebody? Oh no, who is it?
Marina.
I don't trust her.
Why? She made pizza for dinner.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if anybody's on. Oh, what's he doing?
Intellectual bully. We should raid her, she said. She just rebranded.
Oh, weird. She's not
That's
streaming.
right. We haven't talked about that yet. Do you want to?
I mean, I guess we can.
You should. I'm not even.
Do you hear
it's genuinely,
Snoop?
like, the most
Snoop's
creative thing you're
losing
doing.
his mind outside.
I don't, but like, you should, because it's been amazing watching you do this.
Well, I just started. So I started streaming games again. I rebranded from the ARAM girl to Intellectual Bully. And I don't know when I'm going to stream next, though, because I have family in town. But
You want to raid your own channel and then we can just play a quick game so you can stream? That was Marina's suggestion.
no, that's not really
Okay.
going to work.
We're trying to support.
No, I know. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. But it doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. We could maybe raid... Oh, he has like intro ads. So it was that artist that I told you I wanted to bring on the show at some point. I had like mentioned to him. He's my friend Tyler's friend. And he does all sorts of crazy art, like everything from like painting to like sculpting to tons of other things. And I'm in an ad, but he's doing it, and I feel like we could raid him. So let's make that happen.
Raid that man.
It's Lamo Cal. Thank you for letting me do
Also,
Oh.
while you're doing this, Facebook popped up with my memories, and it's a note from Emily to you
You just cut out
saying
completely.
that she missed. Oh, God damn it. Memories on Facebook today. It's video, or it's the note Emily wrote for you when you came to visit her for the first time and gave her a pad, and it says,
Aww.
I know.
I love her. I love her so much.
She's so nice.
All right, everybody, get in here. Let's go raid. I don't know. Do we have a raid call? I haven't made us a raid call. Should it be our
I don't
faces?
know what that is.
Just like so everybody
God.
spams it in the chat. Okay, let's do...
Let's do our faces. Do it.
Okay.
And vegan. Do our vegan faces. Let's do it.
No, but what should it say?
We're fucking here. You're welcome.
We're burnt out, but
burnt.
we're here. Does that sound rude? Or let's just say, like, the burnouts are here.
I like your burn. Ooh, that's a good one.
Perfect. Okay. There's that. Yes, Marina's just gonna do her own shout out. Look how much bigger my head is than yours right there.
I was gonna say, it looks like I'm your little weird child sidekick friend.
You are my little weird child sidekick. I don't know how to tell you this. This has gone on long enough. All right, we're about to raid. Everybody get your things ready. And if you don't have our emotes, then I fucked you. But here we go. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
See ya.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.